Service in Raleigh. It's Nick Petro with your routine Thursday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. I have got a guest with me here today, and our guest is well, you know what? I'll just get your title appropriate and right. I always I never like to mess up people's names and titles, so let me just go ahead and let you introduce yourselves. And the microphone's close enough; they could hear you fine.
I appreciate that, Nick. This is Captain Sam Rolston. I'm with the 3rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
All right. So thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate all of our military service people and the partnerships that we have with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We heavily rely on NWS products and your analysis as we look towards planning military operations.
Awesome. So he's sitting alongside me, and I'm kind of showing him how we do our briefings, and certainly we again love to have you here, and great to have you here, and look forward to our partnerships here. So a couple comments rolling in right off the bat. Michael says welcome, and Rodney says welcome. Thank you for your service. So just for your knowledge, that's how people kind of communicate back to us. They have a little window on their end that they could type in questions. So anyway, thanks again. Now let's talk about the weather here, because we've got some winter weather in this state. Will it affect Central North Carolina? When I say winter weather, I mean this weekend. Will it affect Central North Carolina? And well, hang on, and I'll get to that answer here in just a minute. So in the meantime, we've got lots of warm weather today. I'm looking out the window, see a lot of clear, well, not clear skies, but at least partly cloudy skies, and I see a lot of sunshine. And certainly that is giving us some warm temperatures, unseasonably warm, ahead of an approaching cold front. So we'll see highs in the upper 60s to around 70, maybe even low 70s. On Friday, you can see on the right there's going to be some off and on light rain lifting up from the south, and you can kind of see that depicted in the Saturday. And that's kind of like almost like a 2-day type panel there. Basically, anytime this weekend, we're going to have these streams of light rain moving up from South Carolina and in the southeast states, where that'll give us some off and on light rain across central and eastern North Carolina. And I think Saturday, though, is going to be probably during the daytime more on the dry side than the wet side. But then as we get into Saturday night, that's when we'll have low pressure, and you can kind of see that depicted in the west Florida, like the just south of the Panhandle, Florida, there on the Saturday panel. On the early next week panel, east of Delmarva, there you can see low pressure spun up there and lifting to the northeast. As that low moves from where you see it on the Saturday panel to where you see it on the early next week panel, that's going to bring a period of wet weather across the Carolinas. And it's going to bring some cooler air aloft, which, you know, could kind of see perhaps some wintry mix in the western Piedmont. So to answer your question, are we going to see it here in Central North Carolina? If you're in the Triangle region, if you're in Fayetteville, if you're in Goldsboro, if you're in Roanoke Rapids, probably not. And I know perhaps some folks may be disappointed at that. Others may be relieved. But if you're in Winston-Salem, if you're in Wadesboro, if you're in Albemarle, Lexington, you might see some wet snowflakes, maybe some wintry mix there late Sunday as that colder air aloft begins to move across. I really don't think it's going to amount to much, if anything. And it's the wrong setup. And if you stick around at the end, I'll show you why it's the wrong pattern for any kind of prolonged snow, at least across central North Carolina. Now, all bets are off in the mountains. You know, the mountains, it's different. It's cooler, terrain impacts, flow going up the mountains, you know, it can help cool things even more. So yeah, look for accumulating snow, plowable snow in the mountains and high terrain. But in the triad, I think it's going to just be interesting to look out and see some snowflakes. At worst, maybe just a light coating. But again, my gut tells me here this is not going to be a big event in any sense. Monday and Tuesday should be dry and seasonable. Let me quickly move over to our live data here, and you can see right now what the setup here is. I've got visible satellite. Look at those temperatures. Gosh, when I said earlier, I said mid six. Forget that. We're already at 70 in Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and we're 71 at Fayetteville Regional. So in 69 at Raleigh Durham, and 64 at Greensboro. So you can see we're going to be on the warm side of things. And as I get my little pointer here, and I could show you this area of rain kind of gathering across the Gulf Coast and northern Gulf of Mexico, that will kind of move off to the northeast and basically be our rain producer for late tomorrow and over the weekend. Again, not a washout Friday, not a washout on Saturday, but the heavier, more moderate to steadier rain will occur with Sunday's event. Now, let me mention one thing. If you're in Eastern North Carolina, yeah, you're going to get some decent rain amounts Friday through Saturday. Okay, Eastern North Carolina. That's where it's needed. There's a little bit of drought situation going on here. Let me throw some model overlays here, and I want to show you a little feature here. Oh, that's not what I want to show here. I want to show, bear with me here for just a second. I apologize for the delay. Let me do mezzo overlay. There we go. All right, that's what I was trying to get to. So anyway, this feature right here, these southerly winds bringing up this moisture and a weak disturbance here in this flow will give us some rain here across central and eastern North Carolina late Friday into Saturday. But it's this weather system back here emerging out of the Four Corners region and east of the Rockies that will give us our low pressure system that's going to give us the more steadier, heavier rain on Sunday, perhaps as early as Saturday night. All right. So anyway, let's get back to the slides, and you can see how it breaks down in the accumulated precip. Today, I mean, it could be some very light. If it ain't going to be long, and it ain't going to be terribly long, and if it does rain. The precip you see there on Friday will be, again, mainly more focused on the eastern part of the state. Same thing on Saturday, more across the southeast part of the state. And as you look at Sunday, notice how the rain kind of wraps back into more central and western North Carolina and then dries out by Monday. So looking at the 5-day totals, you can clearly see that east of south and east of Raleigh is where the heavier precip is going to occur. In terms of severe thunderstorm potential, while there could be a rumble of thunder east of I-95 on Friday, we're not expecting any severe thunderstorm activity in the next 7 days. This is our excessive rainfall outlook, and the excessive rainfall outlook basically just depicts which areas will have a better chance of seeing maybe some localized flash flooding. So basically on tomorrow, and again, this would be late in the day, there's a marginal 1 in 4 risk of localized flash flooding anywhere in the green shaded area on Friday and Saturday. You can see how that expands across most of the state, again with the heavier rain expected during that time. All right, so looking further down the road, 8 to 14 day outlook shows above normal temperatures and perhaps odds slightly tilting toward above normal, a wetter period of time, if you will. Kind of wrapping it all up here, look at those warm temperatures here. I just picked 2 locations, Winston-Salem to kind of depict out west in the Triad area, and Raleigh to kind of depict the Triangle region. And whichever location you're closer to, this is pretty much representative of what you can expect. But basically, all of central North Carolina is going to see above normal temperatures, quite mild for this time of year. The rain chances begin increasing as early as this evening. But you'll see by Friday, late Friday, look at the chances increasing to 70% as you go east. Remember, I said eastern North Carolina is going to see the bulk of the rain with this Friday episode and even the Saturday episode. You'll notice, rain chances aren't particularly high there Saturday, both west and east. And again, that's because, the heavier rain is going to be down toward Wilmington and even into South Carolina. Notice on Saturday night how the rain chances increase. That's with that low pressure system approaching. And then on Sunday, as some colder air aloft begins to spread over, don't be surprised if there are some snowflakes, maybe some sleet pellets mixing in. Particularly, you'll notice, look at those snowflakes there for the Winston-Salem part, but not for the Raleigh part. And again, that's the whole point I was making earlier by the Triad, maybe down toward Wadesboro, Lexington, Albemarle, we'll have the better chances to see those wintry mix. And of course, if you're traveling out towards the mountains this weekend, yeah, be ready for some accumulated snow. And once you get east of the Triad, I think we're all fine. You're not going to see any wintry weather. It's going to be fine. If you're like me and like winter weather, you'll be probably disappointed. But so anyway, look how things clear out for Monday. So seasonable temperatures then. All right, so I've kind of already elaborated over everything here on the left. Just to wrap up the hazards and impacts, just keep in mind with anytime there's moderate to heavy rain at times, that could bring us a risk of localized poor drainage flooding, and that could be anywhere across central and eastern North Carolina. Just be aware of that for quickly changing conditions. And then again, if you're out in the western Piedmont, the Triad down toward Wadesboro, there could be a wintry, and let me emphasize the word light wintry mix late Sunday across the western Piedmont. No hazards are expected. I always put the caveat though, things could change. And, obviously we're here 24/7, 365. So if the forecast for whatever reason trends worse, you'll be informed because we'll be sending these briefings out. But my gut tells me this is not the setup for a type of weather scenario that would give you something worse. So anyway, that wraps up our weekly briefing for Central North Carolina this Thursday edition.